Alright, this is Big Boss with Foxhound Woodsball coming to you from Fort Lauderdale. Well, a lot of things have been happening over the past couple weeks. Work, personal tragedies, stuff like that. Well, I'm back and doing something a little special. Now, does anybody want to know what makes this particular gear setup I'm wearing rather unique? As you can see, I got a Black Hawk BTS a.l.i.c.e butt pack on here with canteens. I've got the TPX holster, and I got a leg rig, plus mag pouches. Okay, so the very special thing about all of this is improvised. Now, I'm a budget baller, and being so, if something isn't on the market or it's out of my price range, I'll improvise. That's something that any player can learn to do. Improvise, adapt, and overcome their situation or adversity. That's probably been a hallmark of most paintball players for years, especially when we see how our current economy is and everything like that. So, give me 1 minute and I'll break down everything to you and we'll be back. Alright, now I got the best laid out for you, and now I'm going to be going over everything bit by bit to what is improvised on here. Let's start off with the pistol holster. This is your basic Tippmann TIPX pistol holster. Over the years I've been able to configure this for shoulder holster, hip mount, and right now the way it's set up on this interceptor vest is using the basic a.l.i.c.e adapter. I've tried this in the past before with the different setup incorporating a.l.i.c.e clips in there at a cant or a 45-degree angle, but that didn't work out too well. Feedback that I got from that particular video was that the holster was too wobbly and there was a little too much play in there. So, after thinking about it for a while and looking over my options, I managed to finally get it attached to the vest very securely with just a single a.l.i.c.e adapter. Now, let's break this down and we'll go from there. Just give me 1 second, guys. This is not easy to do with one hand. I'm usually a lefty, but I'm holding the camera, so as you can see, just weaved it in like that. As you can see, the hardest part to this particular modification is actually getting the a.l.i.c.e adapter inside the loop here of your TPX holster. After that, it's virtually smooth sailing. Now, other than that, this holster is pretty versatile in itself, as it was made by Tippmann. It's ambidextrous. You can hook this up for left-handed, right-handed shooters, but the modification I did with this m.o.l.e and a.l.i.c.e adapter, I don't think it was ever originally intended as a vest mount by Tippmann, but that's the thing about budget ballers. You gotta think outside the box. And give me 1 minute, we'll go through something else you can do with the TPX holster with the a.l.i.c.e adapter. Okay, now, pulled out my Black Cell Operative V2 vest from Special Ops Paintball. Wish they still made these things. These vests were pretty effective, but I digress. Now, the belt that I have mounted onto my operative vest is a basic USGI pistol belt. From the design of the buckle, this was in use from the 1980s up into the mid-90s. So, personally, I've used this belt for a long time, and I absolutely love its versatility and its reliability over the pinch clip style or the original hook style. But moving on to the TPX pistol holster, I've actually outfitted it with the a.l.i.c.e adapter earlier, as I can show you right now. Now the problem is with this holster, because of the loops in here for mounting it for your leg or a different belt style, this thing will not fit onto a USGI issue pistol belt such as this one because of the buckle design. But with the a.l.i.c.e adapter in here, it actually snaps in and holds very securely onto this pistol belt. So this in turn will allow you to have a more universal holster setup, whether you want to do it as a drop leg, whether you want to do it as a shoulder holster, belt mount, or vest mount system. And give me a couple minutes, we'll be going on to the butt pack. Okay, now that I went through the holster setup, now it's time to move over to the butt pack on this rig. So now, as you can see with this particular butt pack, this was a Blackhawk Industries advanced butt pack for your a.l.i.c.e gear, with also BTS webbing for other Blackhawk items which have been phased out in relation to the expansion of m.o.l.l.e equipment. So give me 1 second, we're going to break this down into how I got this set up. Okay, now here's the Blackhawk enhanced butt pack. This is the earlier model with the older a.l.i.c.e and Blackhawk BTS setup. Now these particular butt packs were phased out or redesigned to incorporate m.o.l.l.e as the m.o.l.l.e concept expanded further. Now to make these more modular and to handle m.o.l.l.e equipment or to be put onto a m.o.l.l.e vest, I had to use the a.l.i.c.e to m.o.l.l.e adapters, and these had to be modified. So we'll be going into that in one moment. Okay, now I removed the a.l.i.c.e to m.o.l.l.E adapter off this side of the Blackhawk butt pack. As you can see, this is the BTS webbing, this Velcro strap that wraps around to a belt. You can use it on the military issue pistol belts or a Blackhawk BTS pistol belt, or just mount it to any Blackhawk vest with BTS capability. And it also works with these LC1, LC2 a.l.i.c.e clips. Now, for the a.l.i.c.e to m.o.l.l.E adapter, which is right here, I had to modify this, particularly slicing down the width here with a knife to undo the stitching. It also undid the stitching here on the back, and the benefit to that is it makes it a little easier to mount it onto a modular vest. So that's pretty much it on this particular setup. The only hard part is, for the record, is getting that BTS part wrapped around the a.l.i.c.e to m.o.l.l.E adapter and just fitting on the a.l.i.c.e clips in there to make it an ultra secure setup and modular compatible. Other than that, this thing held up pretty solid for me during the testing phase. And give me 1 moment and we'll be moving on to the leg rig. Okay, finally we're on the improvised leg strap. Now, as you can see, this is just a view loader pod pack that I picked up at Walmart several years ago. And the pistol belts that came with it, you only get one of these side clip belts per pod pack. I had a couple of these over the past couple years, and I had the belts. I improvised the belts initially for my TPX leg holster, but in this particular configuration, it's nothing more than a 3-belt setup. We flip it over, you can see how it's weaved in. The top belt here, which is used as the initial strap to connect to your BDU belt or your pistol belt on your gear rig, is secured between the loops on the pack and one of the leg straps, with the other one more independent of that. This particular configuration allows you to have a pretty secure fit around your leg and your gear, and it also makes it easier to do a fast reload when you need to. Now, that's pretty much it for all this as far as the gear rigs, stuff like that go. You can improvise something like this with 140 round pod packs in this certain style, as well as anything else you can set your mind to. Now, you can catch a written version of this at outerheavenpaintball.blogspot.com. There will be a link in the description to this video. And with that, this is Big Boss. I'm out of here.